Tell us what happened. You received this message from this legal advisor complaining about this union flag bunting that you had up in one of your offices.
Yeah, so we did really quite well in North Tyneside as a Conservative group in the recent local elections, and we thought, well, we should really celebrate that, and we should, what we want to do is unite as many people as possible around a national symbol and try and move North Tyneside on. So myself and a colleague decided that the best way to do that would be to decorate the Conservative group room with some Union Jacks, which we duly did. And there was no complaints as far as we were aware until I received a message from the head of law and governance, exactly what you're touching on, saying, look, this is overtly political, it's not appropriate in a publicly funded building, and I will be making arrangements to have them taken down. And as you say, they were taken down. We were obviously quite shocked because outside of the council building, there's a Union Jack that flies. Inside the building, there's a portrait of the Queen and a Union Jack. So we didn't think it was a hugely political statement. We thought it was quite a cheerful thing to do, and really were quite shocked by that decision.
Sean, was it taken down because it was tatty, because it was just bunting and looked a bit, bit naff?
No, not at all. That's certainly not something that was touched on. In truth, there was no discussion. It was a unilateral decision by council officers to remove the bunting. There was no discussion around it. There was no talking it through. It was just unilaterally decided this is what's going to happen. It wasn't tatty. It was brand new. And as I say, we thought it was quite a jolly way to brighten up people's days.
Do you understand why some people find the Union Jack political? Because I take real issue with this, because I would understand if this gentleman had said to you, take down a picture of a particular political figure. But I mean, it's the Union Jack, for God's sake. It's our national flag. I mean, how the hell do you justify that it's a political symbol? Can you even understand why on earth, where on earth he's coming from? Or do you think it's just a very ideological thing, because we know some people very much take issue with the Union Jack. They see it as a political symbol. Some people say it's a racist symbol. I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think this is ideologically motivated?
I don't know. I think you would need to speak to him about his motivations, but I would entirely agree with you. There was certainly no intention at all to make this an overtly political activity. I would just point out, though, that the room that the bunting was hung in has a sign outside of it which says Conservative Group Room. It wasn't, it wasn't a cafe or a car park or something like that. It was, when you talk about overtly political, I'm not entirely sure how you can get more political than calling a room after a political party. So I think the motivation is something we need to ask him about. But I would absolutely agree with you. The Union Jack is a national symbol. It doesn't denote, for me anyway, in the Conservative group in North Tyneside, anything other than pride in what is best about Britain, pride in what we can achieve post-Brexit. And actually, for me, it's not a symbol of division. It's a symbol of unification, or it should be. So again, we're really deeply disappointed by this. We haven't heard anything from the elected mayor.
Well, maybe we will. Maybe we will. Councillor, just help us with something. Just help us with something. So the bunting's gone up. The Union flag bunting's gone up. Get that. But was there also a picture of Winston Churchill? Was there also a picture of Margaret Thatcher that was put up in your meeting room?
Inside the room. Yeah. So because that wasn't the bunting was put up in the window, public facing. Yeah, and those pictures were inside, purely for members of the Conservative group.
But you can possibly see the point that's been made by the legal officer here. They would say, look, we've got to be punctilious about this. It might seem over the top, but, you might complain, let's say, if in the unlikely event of North Tyneside electing a revolutionary communist, and they're suddenly given, publicly funded space inside the council building, and they put a picture of Joseph Stalin up. You might find that objectionable. There is a difference between, iconic figures, political leaders who are party pre, and that which transcends that, and you cited the best examples, the Union flag and a picture of the Queen, our head of state, and our national flag. They are above politics. But I just wonder whether you were slightly tweaking somebody's nose by putting up those pictures.
Not at all. Again, I would make the point that the room that we use is solely for Conservative members. We took a democratic decision that we would want to, that we would hang those pictures. We find them inspirational figures, Churchill certainly, and Thatcher. I know Thatcher's a divisive figure at the best of times, but I would have absolutely no problem with the Labour Party or any other party putting pictures up or anything like that of political heroes. It's about free speech. We live in a democracy, and as you touch on Stalin, we do not live in some Stalinist regime where free speech or freedom of expression has to be regulated by officers or anybody else. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Well, thank you, Sean. Councillor Sean Brockbank there, leader of North Tyneside Conservatives. I take a real issue with... I hope you're playing devil's advocate, Colin, because putting up a picture of Margaret Thatcher or, Winston Churchill, who were democratically elected prime ministers, is obviously would not be the same as a Labour, the Labour Party putting up Joseph Stalin, would it?
Oh, thanks, thanks to Sean, by the way. I think he was just hanging on the line there. No.